So there are two favorite words that we are going to continue to repeat here in this gathering. The first you've already heard, momentum. And the second is realize. You are the vibrational interpreter of your life experience. And just like you interpret vibration into what you see and hear and smell and taste and feel with your fingertips, you are the realizer of everything that comes into your experience. So, you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. The vortex is gathered, all of it, and there is a vibrational version of you revealing itself to you at all moments. Revealing itself to you. But the question that we want you to ask yourself is, are you right here, right now, in the vibrational frequency that lets you realize what's being offered to you? That's really what deliberate creation is about. It's about you tending to the only thing that you need to tend to, which is your point of attraction. You've been listening to us for a while, we know, and you've heard us say step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 1 is ask. Step 2 is the law of attraction and the source within you, gathering all of the cooperative components and giving to you everything that you're asking for. But step 3 is you've got to be allowing of what's there. And this is what we've been talking about all morning. You must be in the step 3 mode of taking care of your vibrational grid, taking care of your set point, your point of attraction. That's what your work is. Life causes you to put all kinds of things in that vortex. You don't even have to think about that. The contrast of your life is causing that expansion. And the source within you is lined up with it. And law of attraction is gathering the cooperative components. In other words, you don't need to focus about step 1 or step 2. Those things are happening. They are happening. They just are happening. They are happening. They are happening. We never want to hear any of you say, well, I'm going to go out today deliberately and have some step 1 moments, which is equivalent to say, I'm going to go make as much trouble as I can and send off as many rockets of desire as I can. You don't have to go looking for trouble. It will find you. We promise you. The contrast is there. But your undivided attention, if we were standing in your physical shoes, would be about, where am I in terms of my vibration? What grid am I on? And we would go to bed every night thinking about these grid discs. We would visualize them and we'd think about those high-flying, good-feeling ones. And we would focus upon that. And when we would wake up in the morning, we would say, that's the one I choose. This is what I choose. And what you're going to discover in the hours and days and weeks that follow this discussion, when a thought begins, just like standing up on that hill in front of your car, when a thought begins that isn't up to speed with the disc you really want to be on, you're going to have the thought, oh, this is not the disc I meant to choose. And if you catch it that fast, no momentum, no momentum, no momentum. And in the absence of the introduction of those slower momentums, this vortex that is really you will sweep you in. In other words, now you are a cooperative component. So how did you like that discussion? We're asking you because it's a little freaky to be in a human body and talking about vibration, to talk about you as if you are a vibrational instrument, but you are. The other day, Esther had a very clear vision of herself as a transmitting and receiving mechanism, and she's got this knob that she's adjusting the frequency on. And then she envisioned herself talking to someone who she was trying to explain something to, and they just weren't getting it. And the more she explained, the more they didn't get it. And the more she explained, the more they didn't get it. And the more she explained, the lower disc she chose. And the more she explained, the lower disc she chose. And the more she explained, the lower disc she chose. And then right in the middle, she is reaching over and trying to adjust their dial. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? She laughed right out loud because she realized she should not have her hand on anybody else's dial. Only on her own, you see. And so that's really what we are wanting to assist you with. We want you to understand that you are vibrational beings and that you only have your hand on your own dial, and that the majority of things that are giving you grief are trying to adjust others so that they can understand you better, rather than clarifying your broadcasting ability. When you get up on that high-flying disc and there's no resistance in your signal, others who are up there will jump on your disc with you. And you'll have a glorious, high-flying, good-feeling, productive, successful experience. And if you are on a disc of frustration or a disc of anger, others like that will jump on your disc and have those experiences with you too. So, point of attraction, your grid. It's the book we're writing. You're really going to like it. What do you want to talk about? Some things. Begin right here. So today we want to talk about your point of attraction, which is what beliefs are dominant within you at any point in time. A few years ago, we introduced in one of the books the emotional guidance scale, and it listed rather scantily some words that depict the way you often feel. Sometimes you're depressed. Sometimes you feel rage. Sometimes you feel anger. We're moving up this emotional scale as we are offering these words. Sometimes you feel frustration or overwhelmment. Sometimes you feel hopeful, and sometimes you feel love. Sometimes you feel appreciation. Sometimes you feel love or appreciation or passion. Sometimes you feel depressed. Sometimes you feel love. Sometimes you feel depressed. And what we've noticed as we watch you is that the way you often feel is in response to what you are observing. And because you are so intertwined with so many people of your planet, more today than ever before, your social networks, your ability to interact, the low cost of phone calls. In other words, you're chatting it up. You're talking about things. You're interfacing with others. You're involved. Your cable network, your cable news, your 24-hour news cycles. You're giving a lot of attention, a lot of steady attention. And in doing so, you're getting momentum going, often without even knowing that there is a vibrational momentum going, that there's a vibrational momentum or belief system that's going. So now we are wanting to say to you that on all of these emotional discs, on all of these emotional spots along this emotional scale, that there is what we are calling your point of attraction. We've given it the term your grid in the sense that it is like the framework of a building that has the potential of filling in with full manifestation. It's your point of attraction. Almost everyone you know, you could identify with a word or two where you find them usually on that emotional scale. You kind of know what they're usually like. Those who have been hanging around Esther lately would put her on the disc of overwhelmment frequently, because she's got more to do than she really has time to comfortably do. And she knows it, and she notices it. So these emotional stopping off places, we want to call your grid. And we want to ask you, where do you think that vibration is? What is the vibration that you've got going on? What is your point of attraction? So you've been moving through life experience, and you see something that you don't want, which causes you to see something that you do want, and you offer a vibration, and as you offer that vibration, it goes off like a rocket of desire. It's a flash. It's a fleeting vibration. It's a vibration that has culminated from the synthesizing of life that you've been living. And the source within you takes that vibrational point, we call it a rocket, and becomes the vibrational equivalent of it. So now the larger part of you is holding a vibrational frequency that your habit of thought may not be up to speed with. So there is this vibrational version of you, and there is this practiced, physical, focused, personality, emotional version of you. So we're talking about this vortex version, this vibrational reality, which includes all that you've become. And there's the, as far as I have come up to speed with that I'm standing in right now. You following? That as far as I have caught up with it, this vibrational grid part, sometimes your vibrational grid, we're calling them sort of spinning grid discs because everything is in motion. It could be here in grief. It could be here in depression. It could be here in frustration or overwhelmment. It could be here in hope. Where do you think your spinning grid disc is? Where do you think yours is usually? Sometimes you feel here, yes. Sometimes you feel here, yes. You're sort of all over the place. Do you acknowledge that? So, do you acknowledge that you don't have a consistent grid? Not yet. You want to, but you don't have one. And the reason you don't have one is because law of attraction is responding to whatever you're giving your attention to, and your attention is all over the place. Sometimes you watch something on television that brings you right there, and if you watch it long enough, you'll be there for a few days. Sometimes someone loves you for something, and as they're giving their attention to you, as they're aligned with source energy, you feel like this, and sometimes you're up here on this appreciation disc for days. Do you have control? This is really what we're wanting to present to you and help affect with you in these hours that we are together today. Do you have control of your point of attraction? We love hearing that from you. Most don't, because most are observing and letting what they're observing set the momentum. And once the momentum is set, then there's not much they can do about it. So most are just going through the day, looking at things and letting whatever it is that they're looking at set their grid. Now, if you have the good fortune of living in an environment that is pleasing to you mostly, with people who are pleasing to you mostly, so that what you're observing is pleasing to you mostly, then you've probably got a pretty good feeling grid disc going on. But if you are working someplace you're not enjoying, if there is someone who sits next to you who is really, really annoying, if you are noticing how annoyed you are on a pretty regular basis, then you probably have a point of attraction that's not serving you very well. So the point that we're making is, and we love you so much, so you know what's coming next. Most are not in control of their own point of attraction, of their own grid, because most are responding to what they're observing, and so the condition is setting the tone. So if you observe it, as you observe it, you offer a vibration. As you offer a vibration, another one joins it, and as another one joins it, then the momentum gets going, and then you say things like, well, that's just how it is, or what is. This is reality. I just have to deal with it. And we would like this workshop to be a sort of turning point for you, where you finally understand you don't have to deal with anything. You don't have to accept anything as it is, but you do have to begin approaching life differently. You can't let your vibration follow your observation. You must let your vibration precede your observation. In other words, it comes down to something as simple as, are you the observer of your reality, or are you the creator of your reality? And the answer to that question is usually both, because most people observe it and then create more of it, and then observe it and then create more of it, and then observe it and then create more of it. But it does not have to be that way. You can get out ahead of the manifestation.